Mom said angrily across the table. "You're just jealous because Katie did well." I replied, "Then ask her. My name is Jack, and I'm 28 years old. I live in a quiet neighborhood in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania." My mom hissed across the dinner table like a snake adorned with pearls. "You're just envious because Maria has made a success of her life." I didn't even blink. I calmly placed my wine glass down, leaned forward and replied, "Then ask her to give back the $55,000. I've given you since college." Even my dad dropped his fork. The metallic clatter was the sound of a truth. That was finally too heavy to be contained. He looked at my mom first, then at me, and then back at his plate as if it held all the answers. But it was already too late for silence. He was about to discover who had been the true provider all these years. It didn't begin with animosity. It started gently, as all traps do. Maria was my younger sister for years, my junior. She used to cry when I left for school. I was the protector, the quiet overachiever, the one who stayed up helping mom with the bills. When dad worked the night shift, Maria was a dreamer with no resilience. She'd start a fire, burn a bridge, and then expect me to carry her across. And I did. When she dropped out of her first degree, I paid. When she relocated to Los Angeles with no plan, I covered her expenses. When my mom called embarrassed saying Maria was trying again, I wired tuition for that expensive art school. $55,000 over the years. Silent money. No gratitude, no promise to repay. Just silence. And my mom calling her the one who succeeded? I didn't recognize the betrayal all at once. It was a gradual erosion, with small glances and meaningful pauses. On Thanksgiving a few years ago, Maria arrived in a luxury SUV. She had a new look and the same old lies. She toasted to her investors and winked at my mom. I inquired who was backing her business. She replied private funds and avoided my gaze as she said it. Later, I discovered printouts of my own emails in her pitch deck, my strategies, my numbers, and my market. Entry plan, the very same one I had drafted for my own startup, but never shared publicly. She had stolen my plan, rebranded it, and sold it as her own to my ex-girlfriend. The woman I had built a business with, the woman who said I was too intense, the woman who ghosted me after I declined to take a back seat when she wanted to be the public face of the company. They funded her using my money, my intellect, and my family's unquestioning loyalty to erase me. I didn't scream or confront her, I observed. I traced her LLC, found the offshore accounts, and built a timeline. I put my startup on hold and instead took a job in compliance, a low-level position where I built credibility and collected credentials. Patience is a sharper weapon than revenge. For 2 years, I showered Maria with praise clapping when she was featured in that startup magazine and congratulating her when she boasted about scaling her business. She thought I was defeated, but she didn't see the walls closing in. 6 months ago, I sent an anonymous tip to the SEC shell company fraudulent grant money. IP theft, everything was meticulously detailed and precise. 3 weeks later, the audits began. Her silent investors, including my ex, were exposed. My ex lost 2 major clients when rumors spread through the city. Maria panicked. She called me in tears. "Can you believe someone is trying to destroy me?" she asked. I said, "That's terrible. Let me know if I can assist." And I meant it. I was assisting. Tonight was the final act. Dinner at the old house. Mom made lamb and Maria brought wine. I brought the truth. Maria spoke about her new direction and said she was pivoting. She mentioned she might move to Europe to clear her head. She was sweating. I noticed she wasn't wearing any makeup for the first time in years. Then my mom made her critical error. "You're just envious because Maria succeeded." That was my moment. Then ask her to return the $55,000. I gave you since college. Silence. The fork dropped. My dad blinked as if waking from a dream. "What money?" he asked. I turned to him. Every transfer I made to Mom's account, for Maria's tuition, rent, car therapy, all of it. I logged everything. Maria shifted awkwardly. My mom opened her mouth, then closed it. I continued. She promised to repay it once her business took off. Instead, she used me. And when I stopped giving, she took more than money. My dad looked at Maria. "You told me you built this yourself." Maria stammered, "Dad, she used my startup pitch," I said. "My projections, my code, my name, in meetings I was never invited to." Then I dropped the final card. The SEC audit. That was me. Maria's mouth fell open. "You ruined me." I took a sip of my wine. "No, you ruined yourself. I just showed them where to look." The lamb grew cold. No one moved. My dad leaned back, silent and numb. I could see it all sinking in. The daughter he had believed in and the one he had overlooked. Maria was the first to leave. She stormed out without her purse. My mom said nothing, she was pale, and my dad finally looked at me with something resembling regret. You should have told me, he said. I shook my head. You wouldn't have listened. Later, I walked to my car. The night was quiet and serene. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt liberated. She took my ideas, my opportunities, my name, but I still had the truth and the patience to let it grow teeth. Some revenge screams. Mine whispered, and it hit harder. So, what lesson did you take away from this story? Share your thoughts in the comments.